had like inflammation of my tonsils. So I had my tonsils removed.
Oh,
Go to the hospital. They were able to do laser surgery on my tonsils.
Amazing.
I was out that day. And it cost me, without
Nothing.
insurance, I didn't have insurance, it cost me at the time
A few thousand.
18,000 NT.
Oh, that's still like...
And I was like, I don't have 18,000 on me. And they're like, oh, that's okay. You can do like a payment plan. Like, they were very, well, you know.
Yeah, we can finance your surgery.
16.
Oh my God, 16.
16 years old.
Wow.
I went to Kunming, China. And I was just like, wow, this is a really new place. Like the
awesome.
sights and the smells and the people.
Do you remember the day you arrived in Taiwan?
You were how old when you came here?
I was 20 or 21 when I came here.
I was 18. He's like, all right, you have to be careful of these blue trucks.
The blue truck. Check myself this time because I feel
You're perfect.
that's going to be perfect. No, not the way I look. I know I always look perfect. No, I'm just... So I'll tell you, how does Cole feel about himself? I'm very confident. I do think I'm a good-looking person. I don't think I'm the greatest-looking person on earth. But I'm happy with how I look. I'm happy with my personality. I'm happy with who I am. So it could sound cocky, but I wish everyone thought that way about themselves. I was looking at you yesterday. Don't worry, I wasn't like perving out on you or anything. Like, I was looking at you yesterday and I was like, damn, Dominic is a good-looking man.
I think you've been in Taiwan for a long time when you're very comfortable saying how handsome
Yeah,
other people
of course,
are.
yeah, I guess let's introduce you now.
Sure.
I've known you for over 20 years. You're one of my first people that I connected with here, that I resonated with. So, like, I'm getting emotional because...
It's true.
It's been really good seeing you here,
Yeah, it's
man.
good seeing you too. You know.
Sorry. No, I'm actually getting yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen you go through changes in life. You were how old when you came here?
I was 20 or 21 when I came here.
I was 18, right? So like,
dude, that's like so out of a comfort zone of an 18-year-old American boy.
You know, it was exciting and interesting, and it was an adventure. One that I thought wouldn't last this long. First came here, I was going to be here for 1 year. I fell in love with it right away. I didn't want to leave.
Dominic, ladies and gentlemen, you're from America. What part of America are you from?
From Oregon. Grew up there.
Which is a beautiful, nature-y kind of... So
Pacific
you're
Northwest. This is actually like, constant drizzle.
From there, you moved abroad and initially went where?
So when I was 16.
Oh my God, 16.
16 years old.
Wow.
I went to Kunming, China.
Okay.
And the opportunity to go to Kunming was actually, my dad wanted to be a high school teacher. So
your dad initially was a...
Okay. So my dad initially was a postal worker, and he delivered mail in Oregon. We moved to Ohio when I was 13, and he did carpentry. But his passion was psychology. He got a master's degree in psychology at that time. When I was 16, I did a 2-month volunteer stint
in China,
in Costa Rica.
Oh, sorry.
It was my first time abroad.
Oh man!
And in the middle of that trip, my dad, we had a phone call.
Where was your dad at this point?
He was in Ohio.
In Ohio,
he was in Ohio, and he said, "Look, there is an opportunity we found an opportunity in China." Either we can go together when I go back, 2 months later, or he can wait until I'm 18 years old and then he can go on his own. So he did give me the choice. At that time, it was great. I was like exploring somewhere else. I was like, wow, okay, what would China be like? I'm like, no way, I'm going to China too. So
that's brilliant.
We went to Kunming, China.
Yeah.
And then when I was 18, I came here.
Okay, so Kunming. Okay, and then you were there for how long?
I was there for 2 years.
2 years, okay.
Yeah.
What did you do while you were there?
Mostly... so I was doing
Cole, I was
courses.
Drinking and I was exploring the lands.
I was exploring the land. I wasn't drinking.
Okay.
I was 16 and
God.
I didn't have to go to school. I did school at home. It was very interesting.
Exciting.
It was very cool. At the time, I didn't pick up too much Chinese at the time. Really studying Chinese came when it came to move to Taiwan here.
I remember you had a Japanese girlfriend years and years ago.
Yeah.
She didn't really speak English very well, right?
No. So we had Chinese.
That's what I was going to say. That helped.
Of communication.
Having a non-English speaking partner, girlfriend, whatever, you guys had to communicate through Chinese.
Yes. And I think after learning the Chinese, it's allowed Taiwan to feel much more at home, right?
I don't have that level of Chinese. I still feel very much at home here. But there is a part of me that would be lying to say I'm not longing for a deeper connection with the locals here. which I think just requires me not to be lazy and actually put in the practice. So I'm trying to push myself in that direction.
You're obviously focused on, you know,
Yeah.
creating content, sharing information.
Yeah, I
sharing
mean, I'm
your
pretty
world.
busy, but it's still...
Exactly, right. You have kids, you have other
Yeah.
things you do. So it's whether, like, how you prioritize.
When you were 16 to 18, what was your feeling about China as a place?
Yeah, it was actually really interesting. I really enjoyed my
I mean,
time
the
there.
people and
People were very nice.
The energy.
Yeah, the people were very nice. They were also very curious. You know, often I would get grandparents with their carrying their kids and stopping and saying like, "Oh, you know, lao wai, lao wai."
Oh, lao wai, right.
You know, so it was interesting. They were obviously interested in someone like me, and I was just like, "Wow, this is a really new place." Like the
awesome.
sights and the smells and the people. But everyone I met there was
They were
nice.
kind people.
Yes.
And then at 18, you moved to Taiwan and Taichung. Is that where you moved?
I moved first to a place called Qingshui. Qingshui is on the coast of
Yeah.
Taichung.
Yeah.
It's near Shalu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Shalu Dajia. It's between those.
okay,
places.
Dajiamazu.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. How long were you there?
You know, I've been in Taiwan for 22 years. I said I was living in Taichung for most of that. And the air pollution in Taichung just got so bad to the point where I was like, all right, I either have to leave Taiwan or I have to find somewhere else. The power plant in Longjing is the world's largest CO2 emitting power plant. And Taiwan also has the sixth largest CO2 emitting power plant in the world. I think nowhere is perfect, but Taiwan, there's a reason why we chose Taiwan and why we live here for such a long time is because there are so many good things about Taiwan. You know, other things I like is just how safe it is here. Because I was on my scooter so much, I went to Providence University to study Chinese in Taichung.
Yeah.
Then when I went to Donghai University, I studied sociology at Donghai. There were many times where like I left my keys in my scooter. I counted. It was like 9 times, I think, over the course of my 3 years in Donghai.
Amazing.
Where I left my keys and it was perfectly safe. Right?
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that aspect. I've had some negative experiences. Some things get stolen. You know, like
I've had things stolen too. So want to point out these things do happen, but 99% of the time it won't happen.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in Canada, I think in America, 99% of the time it will be stolen and you won't get it back.
Yes. So, you know, I think I really appreciate that aspect of Taiwan.
Yeah, me too.
Had so many special experiences from that. So I think just taking care of people, and that's something that Taiwan is very good about.
They really take care of people a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the healthcare system here.
Compared to America, right?
It's a very different system.
Yeah.
And I like Taiwan's system very much.
Yeah, you need surgery. Probably within a week, you're going to have that surgery. You might wait months in Canada or in America.
Right. When I the first probably year of teaching here, all the kids, I was getting sick all the time because all the new
so many germs.
And I had like inflammation of my tonsils, so I had my tonsils removed. Go to the hospital. They were able to do laser surgery on my tonsils.
Amazing.
I was out that day. And it cost me, without insurance, I didn't have insurance, it cost me at the time...
A few thousand.
18,000 NT.
Oh, that's still, like...
And I was like, I don't have 18,000 on me. And they were like, oh, that's okay. You can do, like, a payment plan. Like, they were very, you know...
we can finance your surgery.
Right.
Like, no problem.
Like,
you would say you've had more good than bad experiences with the overall system and experience of your life here in Taiwan.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Your dad didn't move here. Your dad stayed in China.
Yes, I came here on my own.
Do you remember the day you arrived in Taiwan?
Sure. I remember one part of that, and that's like the bus ride.
Oh.
The bus ride from the Taoyuan airport to the to Taichung.
Hold on, was the bus like a Ruang or a Hoshin or something?
It's similar to that.
One of those, and they gave you a little
buses,
chamomile juice box drink or some kind of jasmine green tea.
I don't know if I got that.
Okay, and it had Mario Brothers on a video game system that you could play Mario Brothers.
Man, that changed that too.
You remember those days?
Well, yeah. At that time, it was more a lot more comfortable in these buses. So I went on one of those buses.
This is 2002, 2001?
No, 2000. What I remember is I was talking with some people there, and one foreigner kind of like, all right, you going to be riding a scooter? I'm like, yeah, I plan to ride a scooter. He's like, all right, you have to be careful of these blue trucks.
The blue truck.
I learned afterwards, like, They are pretty dangerous sometimes.
They're very busy. They chew Bing Long, some, not all, but many of them. And the Bing Long gets them jacked up like caffeine times 1,000. Yeah, you need to watch out for the blue truck.
The roads here are a bit different than like how they are in America.
So you had this scared feeling of blue trucks everywhere.
No, just a heightened awareness.
Yeah, heightened awareness, yeah.
So I wasn't scared, but it was like, you know, I just have to be careful. Traffic in Taiwan, you know, sometimes is a bit more fluid than in the U.S.
So how soon from the time you got on the bus to the time you had your first scooter?
Oh, like a day.
A day. Okay. Oh my goodness. So hold on. You get off the bus.
Someone came to pick me up. Like, guy's name is Dana Hudson.
Shout out to Dana Hudson.
Unfortunately, he's passed away.
Okay.
I stayed with his family, and he had like a kindergarten in Chingshui. So he helped me out and helped other foreigners who came here, wanted to teach English.
Hold on. So did I ever meet Dana since I knew you for so many years?
I don't think so.
Okay.
He moved back to the U.S., to California.
Okay.
He opened up a coffee shop, and one day he got, like, you know, his coffee shop got robbed.
Oh my God. So he was robbed and he was shot during the robbery.
Yes. Yeah.
That's,
so, I mean,
that's awful. So this was several years ago or recently?
It's been about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
10 years. But,
sorry to Dana and Dana's family.
Yeah, absolutely.
That must have been a crushing thing to hear, though.
When I heard about that, yeah, you know, I think Dana was always a kind soul, but such is life, you know.
Sorry, that's heavy, but I mean, life can be heavy sometimes.
It can be. You have to appreciate who you have when you have them,
and the time you have with them,
and the time, because realistically, you know, you'd never know. Which is why I appreciate all the time I have with you, with everyone around, where we are.
Those little moments that really matter in time.
Yes, yeah.
Where did you meet your wife?
Yeah, so I met her at a friend's wedding.
Amazing.
Very romantic kind
That's
of
where you
meeting.
hope to meet someone, right?
Right, marriage and love is in the air, right? So.
Okay, was it love at first sight when you met her there?
No, it wasn't love at first sight.
Yeah, okay.
She was one of the bridesmaids. Afterwards, we had a chance to spend more time together.
Yeah.
You know, I appreciated that she was so generous and thoughtful of other people.
Extremely.
And
his wife is awesome. Lucky man.
So yeah, at first it was friendship, of course.
Yeah.
She's a bit older than me. At that time I was 22 when I met her. She was 27. I was attracted to her maturity, the way we can communicate with each other. I think that we respect when there are those different opinions.
Yeah. Can you give some marital advice?
You know, relationships are a bit of a give and take.
Yes.
I think you have to be flexible. You have to try to be understanding. Even though you don't agree sometimes, you have to try to put yourself in their shoes. So I think everybody looks at this world differently. Don't attack the person. Yeah.
So my wife and I, for example, my wife needs to go in her room if we're having a dispute or whatever. She needs to decompress and be alone. She needs time. Cole, on the other hand, wants everything to be fixed right there and then. And that's usually where the argument comes in. I need to learn to go, okay, baby, take your time.
If you're not calming yourself down,
it's going to be a bad fight.
And then it's going to be like you just clash.
How many people break up just because they're in the heat of the moment and they didn't give it time?
I think many people, if they make decisions in the heat of the moment, they often look back at that and be like, "Man, I wish I dealt."
There might be some regret.
You know, that's part of life, right? You have like two different people, who need to find a way to be together. I think one of the biggest things one of the biggest challenges that people find when they're together is that our values are different. When you have different values and beliefs on your parents and different experiences, money, like, you know, all these different expectations you have, but to have an open and candid conversation,
uncomfortable sometimes.
It's harder to have that conversation
after
you're married.
And I did exactly what he said, and I agree with what you just said. It was harder. One
thing my dad told me when very young, advice that he gave me about marriage. It's like, you know, usually there are three big frictions in marriage.
All right, number one?
One is money.
Everything,
One is children. And that goes to like education and stuff. And one is sex. And I think one big aspect too is patience. If you want something right now, I want this relationship to be perfect, right? Yeah. It's not going to work like that. It's not realistic. So you need to be patient. You need to give time. Look at all this beauty around us. It didn't just happen like this.
Okay, so let's take that from marriage then to child raising.
Sure.
you know, I think we need to remember that we're trying to teach our children and guide our children, but remember how many years younger they are from us, the patience part.
Yes. There are new challenges when you have children, because the emotional intensity sometimes brings up emotional intensity. You know, it's try to break your own patterns and habits when you're young. I think that's one thing as a parent where that comes up and you react in a way and you're like, whoa, I don't like that, right? Or they do something where you're just like, that's like a mirror, that's scary, right? So to acknowledge that and to change it, and sometimes changing that is really challenging.
Well, anything that is important is usually challenging and difficult. And you really start seeing those good and bad parts of yourself through your parenting.
Yes.
You hopefully catch them and you're like, oh, I sound like something negative or something I didn't like about my dad. I'm doing that now. And he did that because of his dad, my grandfather. And it's like, subconscious programming.
Exactly. You know, so I think being aware of that, trying to change that.
And I think children learn more from observing our behavior than from what we try to teach them.
Absolutely.
There's more from the observation of our...
Yes. Do what I say, don't do what I do. That doesn't work very well.
No. Taiwanese, they show love by their cooking or by their doing.
Their action.
And nothing wrong with that, but what I do want to say is maybe that's a social norm or a cultural norm that you could try breaking. If you tell your son and your wife, daughter, I love you, and actually acknowledge why you love them. And I know it's uncomfortable, but that's a reason to try it.
Everything may be uncomfortable at first, but the more you practice, the easier it gets, right?
Yeah.
Many families and parents who, like, they never fight in front of their kids. Sometimes it's the opposite, but, like, the ones who never fight in front of the kids, sometimes...
That can be toxic, too.
Exactly. You need to be able to see, like, how do people resolve conflict? And
apologize when you've been in the wrong. I say sorry to my kids. Daddy was having a bad day, or Daddy overreacted to you, and I'm sorry, and I shouldn't talk to you that way, and I apologize. Which is something my father never did, because it would have been really uncomfortable for him to do that, because I think there's a lot of programming that teaches parents they must always look right about everything. And I don't necessarily agree with that programming.
I don't think I'm always right about everything. I think I have different experience and hopefully can share some insight to my kids. I apologize to my kids too if I'm wrong. You know?
Because you just have a bad moment, and I think the apology actually prevents some of the trauma, because the apology lets them know that you weren't entirely wrong in how you were being, and I overreacted.
Yes.
It's hard sometimes.
I think many parents now have the challenge that technology brings, right? I mean, it's always around us.
Technology needs to be used as a tool, sometimes entertainment, but more as a tool than entertainment.
And I think there are certain ways to use it that are actually healthy, right? And I think part of this now is connection.
So important.
Right? You can communication, education, creation.
Oh,
right?
God.
All of these are good uses of the tools.
Yeah, because then you're creating instead of consuming.
Exactly.
But consuming is necessary. I mean, obviously no one would watch my channel, but be mindful of what you're consuming.
Exactly.
You know, healthy balance, right?
Exactly.
And I would love for people to leave comments on, do you have any advice on parenting that you use that's been really valuable for you?
Yes, I think parenting and anything is an ever changing.
We all need to learn from each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Alishan was my favorite place in Taiwan. I think this could be up there with Alishan now, because it's not as much trouble to get to.
Right.
I understand now why you would choose to live in Taipei.
Because you have to put yourself into a place that's actually easily accessible. Nature is easily accessible here. It took us 20 minutes in the car to get to a place.
Oh, yeah, to get here.
Because this kind of environment, like, man, isn't it so peaceful?
Isn't it
such like a awesome place?
I mean, I feel a little bit cold, but I like that.
I mean,
I seldom get to feel cold outside of air conditioning in Taiwan. So
well, welcome to Taipei.
Oh, no, I love it. No, I've been having such a good time here in Taipei, man. Like, I feel like I'm in Vancouver, Canada right now this time of year.
And I have to say, like, I was in Taichung for 18 years.
Yeah.
I came to Taipei. I chose Nangang because of its proximity to nature.
I love that I have someone I can visit here. This is such a spectacular city. Honestly.
Anytime.
I mean, I'm a lover of nature as well, but hanging out with you brings out that part of me and reminds me of how much I love nature. Brother, I love you, brother. This has been a fantastic weekend, and
it's been great having you up.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Be kind to your neighbor. Thank everyone for trying to live a healthy balance, as my son Sky would say.